Here we are, Mr. Bill, one more time.
Yep, we're definitely giving this another shot. This is like the 97th time for two guys talking, and we are going to make this one a keeper. We've got to, man. I am getting so bummed out. It's surprising how hard it is to do these things. Everybody thinks it's a 10-second fix and, this, that, and the other. And I mean, I'm here to tell you right now, I've got close to 40 hours in trying to figure this out. And we just had a dilemma right before we did this. The thing of it is, it's the zeros and ones that are killing us, man. There's a zero where a one's supposed to be, or vice versa, and volume and control of this, that, and the other. But nonetheless, we're fucking here. That's
Let's
how it's
hope so.
supposed to be.
We
That's how it's.
really hope we're here.
Well, we are here, man. I mean, they're looking at us. We're here. And I think we should mention to everybody to, leave comments and any suggestions and things after the cast on, any topic you may have. We'd be happy to discuss.
We're very open to any suggestions. We're trying to be here to help you talk about the things that you want to talk about.
Man, we're
Get
just
it
here. We're,
started.
we're we're here because we're a couple of old dudes that do this shit anyway. We just decided we wanted to do it. Hope somebody will benefit or think it's funny or something, maybe. And it will be. Like I say, this is we're coming off a depressing mode for a second there because of trying to have some technical difficulties. We didn't try to have them; they had us. But categorically, it should be fixed right now. I just didn't have a chance to vape before this, and I'm a little bummed out at that as I see my compadre over there vaping his ass
Yeah,
off,
yeah.
which is okay.
I'm about ready to vape my ass off some more too, man.
No,
Maybe.
no, rub it in,
Should-
rub it in, rub
No,
it
I
in.
can't. I can't do it, man, because I'll be coughing my brains out.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well,
so,
we were going to talk about that the Beyond thing.
oh man, I mean, they did really great. I mean, on the week this weekend, but I mean, not as good as they could have. They pulled like 60 million. But you remember? I mean, you remember the old Star Trek how it all started out.
Yeah, for those of
You
you
know?
that didn't know, that's what we were talking about, Star Trek, the new Beyond movie that came out, and they made a paltry $60 million their opening weekend, which probably, if Shatner was in it, that would have bought his coffee. But
Yeah, it was
none,
about Shatner's coffee, and they spent like a couple hundred million almost on it.
I'm
I think it
sure
was
they did.
180 million or something.
I'm sure they did, man. It's an expensive franchise to keep up with. There's a lot of CGI, and thing of it is, I love the movies. I've liked all of the movies pretty much. The original Star Trek, as a kid, obviously it was really cool and everything. Now it seems so passe. You just want to make sure what you're not the dude in the brown suit or the yellow shirt or whatever, man. Because that's your gig. You're doing a week and you're done, man. But it was kind of ironic how it got started because technically Roddenberry hated Kirk, or Shatner didn't even want to put him together, and I guess Kirk hated Roddenberry. They were always arguing, and there was the thing about every time Nimoy got something, Shatner had to get it, like a little crybaby, and always stealing all the lines and stealing all the scenes whenever he could, always wanting to make out with the women. I mean, he had a good gig. And I know you were telling me that actually he was second choice on that. But
Yeah. Well, now, at first, it was I believe it was Jeff Hunter, or Jeffrey Hunter, I believe it was.
yeah, it's Pike.
Um, like, come in as Pike, yeah, in the first episode,
Hmm.
you know,
Remember that?
and they actually used parts of him for another episode. It was like the follow up of the pilot, it was the pilot of the pilot,
It's
you
one of those
know.
big dudes, man. The big dudes with the little Mohicans that had the super big heads that could like think
Hey,
your ass into an ecstasy moment, or you could be,
yeah, they were all mental, all their
yeah.
mental powers,
I think they're called
you know.
Alotians or something, man, or whatever it was, but illusions probably. But that was a cool episode though, man. Spock, put himself out on the line. Remember, man, he like stole the Enterprise or some shit so he could get Pike back up to there
Oh
because
yeah,
because he got
get
all
him
messed
back
up
there.
and he was in that wheelchair and he could only do like a.
Wanted to get him back, wanted to get back to where he could be whole again. They could make him feel like he was,
Oh
and
yeah, man, he get to hang out with that blonde that looked
have
really
kids and
bad.
shit. Yeah,
She would have had to, they would have had to keep the illusion going 24/7. I couldn't even have seen her in her baddest, in her worst shape because remember when they said they'd never seen a human before and they put her together, which was
best they
kind of
could. Yeah,
stupid in a way when you think about it because all they do is look at themselves and say, okay, she's just good looking and doesn't have a fucking monster head like us. You know, we ought to be able to do something similar. But
but no,
she looked pretty bad, man. She was hot. She was a 10, man, when she was illusioned, and about a negative 97 when they showed her in her real true form, you know. But
now, well, one thing I really fucking I didn't know, and because I actually started reading up a little bit on it, but um, actually, when they first got going, um, the networks were really kind of against the idea. He wanted to kind of use a racially diverse, you know, um, like crew.
oh
He
yeah,
wanted to
Michelle
have,
Nichols. Yeah,
yeah,
she is.
well, he wanted to have people, of different races, not just black, but Chinese, Russian, and then they did Russian, Chinese,
Yeah.
Japanese. They had, I mean,
Faganese. Well, that was
yeah,
Chinese too.
yeah, no,
You know, Sulu had a dual role in that. You know,
yes, yeah, Sulu had a dual role.
George
He went, he
Takei.
went, he went the other way, other knees
I
too,
was wondering if his
on his knees is what he was. But
weenie starts to decay or decay or
but
something from all the AIDS he's
yeah,
probably got.
and he fought him on that because that's the way he wanted it to be. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing was he wanted racially diverse crew to kind of put that modern day kind of thing out there.
Yeah, no.
Because we're right there. We was right into the the end of segregation and all that at the time. So he was trying to get it out there where everybody would feel more equal, and
Well,
everything.
it might have been something to the fact too that he's trying to portray the future where
Right.
everybody was cool with everybody, you know.
Yeah,
Hey, I tell you what, man, there was some green bitches on Star Trek I would have done, man.
but see, at the same time, people were accusing Star Trek of inviting racism and imperialism because they were acting like they were superior to some of these other planets, and they were going out there and offering them a chance to be part of this. You know,
Oh, yeah.
like we're better than you, but you can be part of us and be part of the
Well, you know,
Federation of
I mean,
planets.
but they tried a lot of stuff, man. I mean, they went all those sequels and other series and stuff, and really, I think they all kind of sucked a little bit. Except I liked Voyager a little bit in the sense of I don't know, it had a little bit of a home thing. It's the ones that sucked. That's the one I liked the best that sucked. But Generations, Next Generation, I did like that. I didn't like the prequel Enterprise or any of that with Scott Bakula. I thought it was kind of lame,
Yeah, I
but
didn't
I
give
liked
those either.
I liked Next Generation. I like Picard and Number One and shit and Marina Sirtis. So hail the Greeks. I mean, think about that, man. If the Greeks had their own planet, it'd be
Well,
Uranus.
Uranus,
Yours, not mine.
not Uranus, not my anus,
No, it'd be
Uranus.
your anus, man. It would be my anus,
Right.
man. There
But
ain't no planet up there called my anus. It's called your anus.
Greeks would not have my anus; it would be Uranus.
Hey, man, you're a bigger dude, man. You could house more than I could.
but but
I tell you what, though, man, I wouldn't mind being number one and tapping Marina Sirtis's number two, man. I mean, she was a hot broad, man. And I heard she's really freaky. She married some rock star in real life and everything. And in fact, she did some nudie thing, man. Showed her tits or something, and it kind of whacked her from getting any return engagements with any movies on
yeah.
Star Trek or anything. She pretty much blackballed herself, man, by showing the boobs, man.
Is that on the web anywhere? I can look that up because I wouldn't mind seeing her tits.
Well, the tits are out there, man. Yeah. You type in.
I might have to look and I got to be honest. That I am the kind of guy that if you show me your tits, I will look. I
This is
don't
true,
mean
man. He's
to.
asked to see mine before, and I was like, no, dude, you can't do that, man.
Yeah,
So
I mean,
we're
if
friends,
Bill
man, but
me
not that
is,
close.
I'd have to look, man. If you show it to me, I gotta look. It's
I
just has
promise
to
you,
be.
man, you will never see my tits. Now, for that reason.
Mine, mine are probably mine. I'm sure mine are bigger than yours.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's okay. I don't mind smallness when it comes to the boobs if they're mine. But I tell you what, Marina was hot, man. I tell you somebody else that was hot too. Gates McFadden, the Wesley Crusher's mother, the doctor.
Oh hell
That bitch, she had a face look a little bit like an Irish setter, man, but she's beautiful, man. I mean, she's had that red glowing. I mean, I thought she was really, really hot. You know, I might have broke protocol if I was on there to try to hit that shit. You know, but
yeah. Well, the captain be thinking about it.
oh, the captain, she was on the captain, man. She liked that
Oh,
bald-headed Mohican, man.
yeah,
Picard was
he was acting like he was trying not to, but
yeah, but man, once it's a cut,
yeah,
Picard's over there. Come on over here, Gates. Give me a little blow. You know, I mean, he's without question. You know, Family Guy, his character is really funny, man. Or not Family Guy, but American Dad. He plays like the head of the CIA, and it's kind of sick, man, in a way. I mean, some of his characterizations and stuff. Like there was an episode where the American Dad did something weird. He like transformed himself into a chick by accident, and was trying to have lesbian sex with his wife and get along. And of course, the aliens trying to get in on it and everything. But then Picard or his character and shit tried to date him, man. I mean, it's like, dude, he's a dude, man, But I don't know. Seth MacFarlane's a little out there, though, man. He sometimes he pushes the envelope a little more than even I think is cool. But you gotta admit he's a thinking dude, man. I mean, he definitely thinks what we think to
oh,
some degree, some degree not. But did you
yeah.
say something about George Takei got married or something a while back, and you read about it or something?
I can't remember, man. It was his newest. It was it was wild, quite a while back, man. It was Sulu, wasn't it?
Well, yeah.
Sulu, yeah. And I was, and I hate to tell the story, man, because I was in jail at the time, and it does make me look like a criminal, but
Not necessarily, man.
but
Just
but
don't
I
tell
was not
anybody what you were
necessarily
in
a
jail
criminal.
for, man.
I was not in jail for anything of any serious consequences besides my own convictions. But but
Uh,
uh, I was sitting there, and they turn you loose with USA Today. That's the only paper you'd be allowed to read because they don't want you to know anything that's out there in the
local
you know
world.
local world. Just in case they come walking in, you get to meet these people. But I'm sitting there at the table, man, and we got like certain open common area, where everybody's out there during a certain part of the day, and I'm just reading the paper, having a conversation with this guy sitting there, and he was a big boy, about like me, we were both about the same size, and I got in a conversation with him. I was reading the paper, and I'm like, damn, and he's like, what's the matter? And I said, oh hell, Sulu's queer, you know. And I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that as an offensive thing at all. It just came
Definitely
out.
queer, man.
I apologize, for the term,
They
but
say Kirk's a hack.
but it just came out, And the guy looked at
Scotty
me, and
drinks.
yeah, and he told me, he said, well, I have that my brother is a homosexual, my sister is a lesbian, my best friend is a homosexual, and I'm like,
Man, you should look
well,
at him and go, my mom's a homosexual.
my mom's a homosexual, but I
My
told
dog's queer. Of course, they
I
all
just
are.
I just told him. I said he said something about like um if you do you have a problem with homosexuals? And I said no, I don't have a problem with them. I just like fucking queers, you know. And then
That's a bad
that was a
statement.
bad it
Did
was
you
a
just
bad
say?
way to put it, and because I said it really loud, and everybody looked at us when I said it because I
No,
knew
he said he doesn't like fucking queers. He didn't actually come out and say, I like fucking queers. Make sure, let's make that,
that difference. Sure, yeah, that was clear.
we got to make that distinction.
And then that was the wrong thing to do, man, because the fight was on, man. And
Well, yeah,
me and him
since you, yeah,
being the boys we tore half the place up before the guards got us locked up and kept us in an isolation situation for 96 hours. And then when we come up out of it, me and him actually had to talk about this because we were still going to be in this jail for an extended period of time together. So we had to get along. So we discussed this and come to find out he was so testy because he was a homosexual, and he thought as I was calling him out in the jail, he didn't want anyone in the jail knowing he was that way. And I called him
Oh.
out. He thought, so he was trying to prove his point. That's why he
Oh.
fought with me.
So this big Mohican liked the weenage.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just because didn't mean he couldn't handle himself. And
Well, he's technically what they call not happy in his own skin then, man.
no, he wasn't. But well, it wasn't that he didn't want the attention in jail, man. You
Yeah, but
know,
I heard those are the dudes that don't have any problems, or those that'll say, "Hey, okay, I'll do that," or "Hey, you want me to do that?" or
no, it's not like that. With I mean, no, that's just it.
"Shit
No,
ain't gonna
I
happen to
got to
me."
know this guy pretty good, and he may have been on the other side. I mean, he's not been on the same, didn't play on the same team we do, man. But 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 it was all to him. It was just like, oh, no, I can't say that, man, because guys will screw anything. But but he wouldn't. No, it had to be someone he cared about, or something.
Yeah. A guy
I
would
mean,
screw a light bulb with a low voltage charge on it.
this is true. But he wasn't that way. He wasn't that kind of guy. He didn't want that attention while he was in jail with all these guys that were been going to be in there a long time, and he didn't want them hitting him up. You know,
Well, that
because he
makes
wasn't
sense.
going to play. He wasn't playing that game. So, but it turned out that me and him ended up becoming decent friends, and I stayed in contact with him for even for a while after we got out, and he's doing well. His mommy, or grandmother was what it was quite well off, and she got him in the right direction. As far as I know, he's living in a big house, living well and happy, you know.
Hey, well, here's to
And
the
I mean,
queers.
hey, I mean, the guy there was not a thing wrong with the guy. He was a fine young man,
Well,
you
he
know.
probably learned a little bit about himself in the big house. That shit happens. Hey, we need to discuss briefly. We got a little thing we call "Hit It and Quit It." It's something where we just kind of talk about something briefly, and
We got to go, man. On hit it and quit it. We got to go on with Big Daddy Trump, man.
Big Daddy himself, yes,
Daddy
the
Trump.
Godfather of toupee. Well,
That's
yes, he
right,
doesn't
man.
wear toupee. He should, but he doesn't.
It's the only man that may possibly save America. You know,
From the
because
dreaded heathen Hillary.
we are.
Hillary.
Flee from Hill on our. Definitely anybody can save us from her. We can't let that happen.
Man.
I
The
mean,
sad part is, we watched last week. We watched the RNC, and it went well. It went well. Trump talked for what, an hour and 15 minutes. Said what he needed to say. I mean, you know, numbers maybe not 100% on, but none of them are. I mean,
politically correct, man. That's basically what it was. But a lot of the blunders he made, though, was because he was trying to be a little more political.
yeah, I know. If he wasn't political, it wouldn't have mattered. You could have just said Hillary's messed this shit up, and here it is, not by percentage numbers.
He was trying to pull the numbers game up, and he was riding it really hard, man. And
Well,
some of the numbers weren't right, and a
yeah, I
lot of
know.
you can't throw a lot of that shit on Big Daddy, because Big Daddy was just playing out the part that they wrote out for him, man.
That he
You know,
was, and I thought he came off very presidential. He didn't jack that girl when she protested. Now, the Democratic thing, the first night out of the shoot, they had all kinds of shit going on outside, man. People in Sanders, man, the Sanders people, they did not want to succumb to saying, okay, I'll vote for the witch. They did
the
not want to do
biggest
that, man.
the biggest protesting they had on that whole conference thing going on last night was over the fact that didn't want Bernie backing her up.
No,
You know,
well, and like Bill did his thing last night. He just
oh,
talked.
oh, Slick Billy had to throw it out there,
The
man.
sad part is he's talking about all these values and how he bought a house before he even asked her to marry him and shit. She knew she wanted it, and I guess maybe some of that might be a little true. Who knows? But
It's a good story, man.
it was a
But
great story. The man tells a story like nobody else. But that's the
but
thing. It's a
that's what
fucking
got him in
story.
last time. That's what got him in before.
Well,
And
yeah. I
and,
mean,
and
like I said, remember he debated the word is. Now, if you got to
well,
fucking debate the word is, you really done something bad that you're reaching that far trying to get
that's
out of it.
right, man. You know, and and Bill was the hero of that. that he could debate something that should not have been debatable. And I mean, most of the stuff now, no, regardless, man. Even the nice little story, man, that he spun out there about him and Hillary's life, and down to his presidential, how much he did while he was in office. Okay, now that's all. That part right there really irked me because the Clintons never did anything. All the time he was in office, everything that went down while he was in office was set in motion by the previous uh, administration.
Well,
No,
yeah, well, that's the
he had
thing.
nothing to do with it, man.
Trickle down
He just wrote
economics
it
and
out,
all,
man.
exactly, trickle down economics and all of the prosperity that Reagan caused, Clinton took credit for.
Yep, he just wrote it out as it played out, man, like it was supposed to play out. It went down just
And
like
there's
it
a
was
lot of
supposed to.
stuff too, like he could have taken Bin Laden out 3 times. Some
Yeah,
people know that, some don't. Had he done that, yeah, there would have been collateral damage because I guess the Prince of the United Arab Emirates was there, and he would have
that
been
would
taken
affect that
out.
would affected his bottom line. Is what it would have done, you
Well, it
know.
would. Yes, it would have. It would have cost us some oil and this, that, and the other and shit. And so but that's just the one time. There's the other 2 times he had him too, and he let him go. And I think personally, Clinton's a scumbag. It's just my opinion, but hey, it is what it
Well,
is. I mean,
they've already proven that they're not going to go in a trustworthy direction, and if they get caught, they're going to backpedal like a motherfucker.
yes, they
Excuse me,
will.
you know?
No,
But
you're
that's the
right.
way it is, you know. So we know right off the start what we're working with if we let them in the door. You know.
And I think
Now, Trump,
we
man,
do not do
he
that.
may be he may be a shrewd and rude
He's
businessman,
very brash.
very brash, but he makes things happen.
Well, he does, and when you knock over the dominoes and all that stuff, I mean, a lot of dominoes fall for. I don't know where I was going with that, man. I'm kind of buzzed. But regardless of the fact that is you know, he might mess up a couple people to make a couple of thousand right. I mean, it's almost what's the term? Acceptable losses, I guess. Where yeah, you might have to tear down somebody's house and to build your whatever, but as long as well, they actually call it castle domain
Oh,
or something.
Emmett, no,
Eminent
eminent
domain, excuse me, eminent domain, yes, and
But
that
they gotta pay out the legitimate market value usually.
they
They
do.
can't just take your shit, you know. They gotta give you back what it's worth.
Okay, well, we don't want to talk too long on this because it would be hit and get it, but this definitely is a Trump year as far as I'm concerned, and you know,
We need to pull for Trump as hard as we can.
yes, we
No
do.
matter,
This is a
no
very
matter how
serious thing.
easy of a landslide it looks like he's going to get, don't get lax. Get out there
Yeah,
and put it out there for Trump.
that's right.
You
Don't
know,
think that your vote
because
doesn't count because this year it's going to count more than ever.
if there's any way that Hillary can connive and steal this election, she will.
Oh yeah. Well, when they did the thing last night, I mean, they showed all of the presidents, and then they show a video of her sitting there trying to look presidential with a bunch of kids behind her and shit like that. And it's like, man, what a hack. She's probably right there in the building, man, just playing it out, you know?
She was supposed to have been in New York, but that's true.
Well,
It
she
could have
could
been
have.
all could have all been staged. We wouldn't have known the difference.
No,
But it didn't matter, man. Like I said, I didn't care less about her last night, man. I watched it and I wasn't impressed, man. And the Bill, because they're running his mouth about all that, you know, and every bit of it I know because I was intelligent and old enough at that time to realize what he was lying about.
which is everything comes out of his mouth.
It's just right, man. Their whole lives, and anyone that didn't like the way the Clintons did it, they're gone.
Oh yeah,
You know,
physically some of them.
physically, some of them. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's no question of that. Well, on that note, 2 thumbs down, Clinton. 2 thumbs up, Big Daddy.
Man, Big Daddy Trump all the way.
And I think on that note, we'll go ahead and end this podcast. And just as I
Any
said,
suggestions you guys have, put them in our comments. Leave us comments, good, bad, indifferent. We don't care.
we don't
Hurt
care.
our feelings. Tell us what you think. We need to know.
You ain't gonna hurt us.
You know, you won't hurt our feelings, man, because the best have tried. So just throw it out there. All input's good input to us. We want it. So keep it coming in there. suggestions, input, topics, anything you think will help us, and anything you think will help you. We'll be
That'll
glad
work.
to.
And on that note, y'all be cool, and we'll see you on the next one. They're going to get better.